live?
Yeah, you're live. My apologies.
All right, cool. Apologies. We're starting 6 minutes late because it was on the wrong page. But now we're back on my page, so I'm going to try to recreate what I've covered already. The reason why I'm doing this is because I'm giving information, I'm giving tips that I would give to my friends that I wanted to see successful. If I knew they were in the business of selling and they maybe not have had the experience I've had, maybe not have had the training that I've had, maybe not done the study that I've had, maybe not as effective as I am, these are things that I would teach them to help them to be more effective in their selling. So tonight I'm going to talk about 3 key minutes. The 3 key minutes. Now,
William Brown, Pamela Dellinger, they're coming now.
They're coming over. Good. Appreciate it. So I'm just going to recreate my setup again. When people intro me, part of my intro is I've read more than 700 books on how to sell. And out of reading so many books and studying so many books on how to sell and actually having chances to do thousands of presentations, for about 12 years, I averaged 60 presentations a month. 60 presentations a month. 60 times a calendar month.
Melissa came over. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you. 60 times a month I got in front of an audience and attempted to make a sale for about 12 years. So that's where I kind of cut my teeth. I got a chance to read a lot and practice a lot. Plus, as the sales manager, I had to give a sales meeting every day. Monday through Friday, I had to give an hour motivational sales meeting for about 10 years. So I got really good at teaching that too. So I had to learn some stuff. So out of all that study, there's some books that I always recommend over others. The first book I typically recommend for someone who wants to be a champion in sales is The 1 Minute Salesperson by Og Mandino. But typically the second book I recommend is The 1 Minute Salesperson by Spencer Johnson. Now they talk about 3 key minutes. The first minute that's key that they always talk about is that 1 minute before you're in the presence of your client or potential client. The things that you're thinking about before you get in the presence of your client will shine through your eyes. They will radiate in your voice. They will affect your gestures. Those things you're thinking about at 1 minute matters greatly. So I want you to pay attention for the rest of your selling career of what you're thinking about in that 1 minute before you're in the presence of your clients. Matter of fact, what I want you to do is to control that minute. I want you to, on purpose, think about what you want to have happen. This is not time for you to think about the argument you had or the person that cut you off in traffic or any physical elements or anything. That 1 minute before your client, take control of that minute, seize that minute, and take control and put to yourself what you want to come across. Think about helping that person that you're in front of. Think about loving the person that you're in front of. Think about how much better the person you're about to talk to life will get as a direct result of you talking to them. Seize that first minute.
LaPronda came over. Dorothea Muriel is on.
Cool. Now, the second minute that I want you to take control of is 1 minute implementation. That second minute. First, take control of the minute before you're in the presence of the client. The second minute I want you to control of is in the middle of your presentation. Whether your presentation is 4 minutes or your presentation is 4 hours, doesn't matter. At some point in the middle of your presentation, I want you to stop and check for understanding. What happens is when you're communicating with a client, if they miss a word, if they misunderstand a concept, they very often will not tell you that they misunderstood something you said. And if they misunderstood something you said, that's going to change how your presentation impacts them, and they will not tell you, because they don't want to come across as dumb. So you want to check for understanding. So far, have you found any value I'm talking about? It's one way that I like to ask, as a minute of checking for understanding. Have you found anything that I've mentioned so far helpful to you? Is there anything that I've mentioned so far that you like? And that's what I want to ask. Have you found value or like? That's not the time I want to talk about what you don't like. I want to steer them in the direction that I want them to go. So in the middle of your presentation, after you've talked about some things, I want you to stop and check for understanding and take about a minute to do it. So far, what have you seen or heard or liked about what we've talked about? Can you imagine? Now, if they can't, that's a great place for you to put the right thing in them. Oh, I don't know. I guess I like everything. Not a good answer. You're looking for specifics there. And if they don't have specifics in the middle of your presentation, give them some. So I guess you like the fact that you can do this faster. Or I guess you like the fact that this is easier, or this will help you to sell better, or this will help you to move better, move faster. Give them the value if they can't give the value. Okay?
Amen.
All right. Now the first minute is the 1 minute right before you get in the presence of your client. The second minute is 1 minute in the middle where you check for understanding, kind of do a temperature check. Mm-hmm. The third minute, that's very important that you check for understanding, is that 1 minute immediately after you leave the presence of your client. That 1 minute where you're away from that immediate first minute that you're away from your client. The things that you're thinking about when you're away from that client. Here's what I want you to do. As fast as you can, I want you to start asking yourself 2 questions. Even as you're walking to your car, I want you to start asking yourself 2 questions at the end of each presentation. Question number 1. What did I do correctly? What did I do correctly? What did I do the right way? By the time you get to your car or in your office or whatever, I want you to honestly come up with an answer to the question of, what did I do correctly on that presentation? Mm-hmm. It's very important that you start asking yourself and answering for yourself the question of, what did I do the right way? Mm-hmm. The second question I want you to start asking yourself is...
Thank you, Kimberly, for writing that question down. Cheryl Jones, Perry Walker, and Stephanie Washington are on.
Awesome. The second question I want you to start asking yourself is this question. If I had that presentation to do over, comma, what would I have done differently?
Boom. Excellent question.
Note, I do not want you to ask yourself, what did I do wrong? That's the wrong energy. I want you to ask yourself, what did I do correctly? Mm-hmm. And if I had to do over again, what would I have done differently? And I do not want you to give yourself the benefit of the doubt here. The benefit of the doubt is, I was perfect. Don't do that. I want you to find, even if you make the sale, I want you to find something that if you had to do over again, you would have done differently. Mm-hmm. Maybe you would have got to the money part earlier. Maybe you would have taken longer. Maybe you would have warmed up with them a little bit longer. Find something. Well, these 2 questions here, these are the self-managed questions. These are the making your own sales manager. If you'll keep asking yourself these questions, what did I do correctly? You can ask it at the end of a presentation, or you can ask yourself these questions at the end of your work day. Mm-hmm. What did I do correctly today? And if I had today to do over again, what would I have done differently?
Thank you. Kimberly has documented that question as well for us in the group, which is really good, so people can refer back to it, even if they can't read your handwriting.
Thank you, Kimberly, very much.
I appreciate it. Angel Guerrero is on.
Awesome. Now, by asking yourself these 2 questions, what did I do correctly? And if I had to do over again, what would I have done differently? What you will notice is trends. You're going to notice some trends. Now, if you find yourself on this second question here answering the same things over and over again, that means you can change it. That means you could do something in the body of your presentation so that this answer changes.
Okay.
What did I do? You'll notice trends. If you're saying the same things often, you can fix it. This helps you, because you're the closest one to your client. This helps you to keep from going through extended sales slumps, because you're asking yourselves the right questions. What I do correctly and what I do differently. The third most important minute is the 1 minute right after you leave the presence of your clients. That's why I want you to ask yourself these questions right away, because everything is fresh in your mind. Everything is fresh in your mind. Now, in addition to all this reading I did in my developmental stage, by the way, I'm still in my developmental stage, because I never let myself think I'm out of training.
Absolutely.
I never allow myself. I was in a meeting one time, and the question was posed, what on a scale of 1 to 10, what grade do you give yourself as a sales closer? Now, I wrote the 22 must closes. At one time, I knew more than 100 ways to close. I know how to close as good as anybody I've ever met in my life. But I gave myself the grade of 8 at that table. It was at the Street Smart Forum, and everyone laughed at me. You know, Mr. Gaddis says, Brian, you're not an 8 when it comes to closing. You're 10. But I won't accept a 10 because I still think I'm improving. Okay? Mm-hmm. Now, but in addition to the books, I was also listening to cassettes in the car and CDs in the car on how to improve. And one brilliant one I discovered was how to sell better with the Silva method. Jose Silva out of Mexico. He had this thing where he could teach people how to realign their minds. And one of the things he would do was, I learned on this cassette, it was a 2-tape series. He would teach people about how our brain works. How our brain typically has 2 operating functions. One is what's called beta level. That's the level that we operate on as we're walking about, going about your day. You're in beta level. And the level that you're in right before you fall asleep and right when you wake up, that's called alpha level. Now, alpha level is the level where you can take in information the best, where you can receive information the best. That's the level where great ideas come, right before you fall asleep and right when you're waking up. Mm-hmm. So what Mr. Silva taught people to do, and what he was teaching salespeople to do, and what he taught me to do, was to bring yourself to an alpha level. What you would do is, what I would do is I would park my car in the shade, and I would, he taught me to count backwards from 20. And I would close my eyes and kind of hold your eyes, although they're closed, but they're looking up a little bit, like you're looking up at a movie screen. Mm-hmm. Close my eyes and I would count backwards from 20. So it was 20, 19, slowly, and get all the way down to 1. Slow your body down, slow your brain down, eliminate the noise, slow everything down. And then once you get down to 1, I would want you to imagine exactly what you want to have happen in your day of selling. Or imagine what you want to have happen in this next presentation. Now I want you to see the happy ending. See the happy ending in state. See the client writing you a check. See the client happily shaking your hand. See the client happily using your service. If you can see it, it was amazing when I did that to me. When I did that to myself and I brought myself into state, because I got to the place where I didn't want to miss any sales opportunities. I wanted to make sure I had it happen. I had to see myself successful. And then when I went in front of my clients, I stood different. My whole demeanor was different. My aura was different. I was fully expecting to succeed because I had taken myself there. How we doing? We're doing 7.9. Good. So, the Silva method. Bring yourself into alpha level. And do this, I recommend doing it like once a day. Maybe in the morning time, and you can get away from someone and count down and get yourself into state and imagine exactly what you want to have happen. Now, sweetheart, I'm going to ask you a question. I know you're off camera, but if someone was to do that regularly, what kind of impact do you believe it would have on their selling life?
Oh, absolutely positive.
It would be positive.
Absolutely.
It's kind of like the law of attraction.
Absolutely.
But this is, I think it's just a little bit tangible because you could see it. Mm-hmm. You could see yourself moving toward it. So I knew I was going to run out of content tonight because I wanted to cover this. That's all I wanted to cover tonight. Because last 2 weeks, what happened was I ended up finding myself talking very fast at the end because I didn't cover everything. So any questions or anything?
We've got some folks on. If you all have some questions, Kimberly is definitely on, and she's been taking notes. Angel Guerrera said that we can be our toughest competitor. We can also be our best motivator, and it's time to challenge ourselves. Believing that madness is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result, was what Angel said back when you were talking about asking yourself, what would I do differently? Again, right.
What I've done differently. Okay.
James Penn said Alpha State is the same resonance as the Earth. I didn't know. Well, I don't know that I knew that.
I don't know
that I understand what that means.
I need some more clarification, brother.
Yeah. But James Penn is on. So hey, James, I love that cool picture
Huh?
I love that cool picture of him with his wife in front of their BMW. 1 week or something, it says. It's really sexy.
Okay, I didn't see it yet.
It's really sexy, guys.
So I still have time, so I'm going to keep going.
Go ahead. You're good.
We'll talk
you got
about
7
some more
minutes.
stuff. Okay, what did I do correctly? What would I have done differently? All right, now, here's another thing you could do. I think it's a good idea, is if you partnered with someone. Now, when I cut my teeth in sales...
Kimberly says, should we count down when we are sleepy?
It depends. If you're falling asleep but you're thinking about the news, then you should count down. But if you can allow yourself to sweep out the negative stuff, then you can just go to work. And I even imagine myself like sweeping out the numbers as they were going, like 20, and I was sweeping out, and then 19, sweep that out, and everything else. So it's like clear. That's what I would imagine. Okay. But if you can get yourself into state without doing that, that's fine. But you don't want to be thinking dueling thoughts. You don't want to be thinking of the aggravating stuff. You don't want to be thinking about Trump as you're trying to go into state. Okay, because that's totally opposite. Okay, so you don't want to do that. When I cut my teeth in sales, we had a sales meeting every day. And one of the things we had to do was whoever, in the next meeting, let's say Tuesday morning's meeting, the next meeting, whoever made a sale from the day before got to tell their war story. They got to tell how great they were. They got to tell the story of what they overcame to get that sale, or what had to happen for them to get that sale. And that story was good for everybody. It was good for the person that had a chance to tell their story of how great that was. It was also good for the people listening to the story, whether they made a sale or not, because if they did make a sale, they can at least hear the story of someone else making a sale. So that guy's no smarter than me. If he's doing it, I can do it too. Okay? So you got a chance to tell your war story. It's like you get a chance to feel good when you make the sale, and you get to feel good when you tell a story in front of your peers. And we all had to applaud after the story. Telling that story. Now, the converse of that is if you didn't make a sale the night before or the day before, you couldn't say nothing.
Right. You couldn't say anything at all in the meeting?
You could congratulate the person that sold, but you didn't want your contribution because why should we listen to you? You didn't sell.
Wow.
So, that's how cold it was. Okay.
Yeah.
So, but people, and that drove people to want to sell more because you wanted an opportunity to tell how great you were. So I said all that to say, it would be great if we was to partner with folks where I could tell them how great I was on this particular day. If you could tell somebody, someone that you respected, how great you were on this day, I think what that does is that's like you're building from success to success to success, and the results of the success is compounded because you feel it, and then you get to feel it again. You get to feel it doubly because you're sharing it.
Sharing it with somebody who's going to celebrate it with you,
With someone that's
versus
gonna celebrate
somebody
it.
that's going to roll their eyes at you.
Yes, and that's the worst thing you could do. Let me tell you how great I was. Oh, God, I don't want to hear that. And we have people in our circles,
We do.
in our lives, a lot of times it's our family.
But that's why the circle, like the Improver Now Forum, that's why the Empowerment Circle is really great for people that are looking to move forward and be supported.
That's right. Move forward and be supported. And finding that support, the older I get, the more and more I find that as important. Matter of fact, I used to eschew the commentary, Brian, you're a motivational speaker, or Brian, you're a motivational guy. I did not want to be called that because I thought motivation was temporal. I thought I could motivate someone, and then the next time someone pisses them off, they're not motivated no more. So I didn't like it. I like to call myself a trainer because I could teach them stuff that they can do whether they're motivated or not. They don't have to be in the mood to ask yourself these two questions. You just do it because you do it. So I'd rather consider myself a trainer, but I think I'm shifting. Because what I'm discovering is that there is very real and very tangible value in motivating.
There is.
And offering encouragement. And I can see it now better than I ever could before. The ability to motivate and the willingness to motivate someone else is an important thing.
It is. It's very important. There are some people, and we talked about it kind of this morning with the undiscovered greatness, that are one moment away from giving up on their greatness because they haven't been acknowledged.
Or encouraged. Or celebrated. Or whatever. You know? So, all right. We're going to wrap here. Anybody have anything I need to say?
You got 4 minutes for these people. Kimberly said, Mr. B with issue.
Eschew. That's a good word.
That's a good
Scrabble word.
That's what Job did.
What? He eschewed, yes.
He eschewed evil.
Eschewed evil.
Yeah.
That's right. That's right. I misspoke it. Anyway.
No, you said it right.
No, I'm not a clock person. I'm a clock person when I start, but I'm not a clock person when I end.
Motivation is better than training to me, according to Tanya. Angel says you gotta go, but motivation is good. Training is necessary. You need both. I believe that you need both. There are lots of people that are motivated to be fantastic and great, and they're not honing their skills, and they're jumping around looking like clowns.
A motivated fool.
Yeah, it looks like a clown.
Right.
And
So
we want you to be
training.
motivated and trained. We want you
Yes.
to be productive. We want you to be successful at what you do. Embrace that you are a wonderful encouragement to people, is Bill Brown. Thank you so much. He is.
I'm
He is
learning
that.
to embrace that.
He
You know,
is
there's
that.
a story I once heard about this man who gets away from everyone else. He goes to an island and he lives simply, and he prays and fasts for a month, and he comes with this epiphany about life, and he's excited about life, and he wants to go back and share it. And he gets back to his people and goes, I have found it. I found the secret to life. They said, what is it? I am one with all things. I am at one with all things. I am a part of everything. That was his epiphany. And they said, you sure? Are you sure? And he goes, you mean I'm not? See? He took all of this time. The first person to check him and question it.
Can't be so easily moved.
Now he's off his game.
Yeah.
Okay?
And I think that's also why you got to have foundation to your motivation. Tanya says, I've been trained to do a lot of things, but I don't do them. Every day I need to be motivated. You do, but the fact is that you had training to go with the motivation. We're saying that you need both. You do need to have training. You need to have base foundation, some skills honing, and the motivation to do it. Kimberly says, epiphany. I love it. My vocabulary is going to be better listening to you.
I once went to a real estate agency, a big real estate agency in Raleigh. They had like 90 agents in the office, and I gave a sales training there, and those agents had been trained to death. They knew what they were supposed to be doing. They had systems, but they were all low performers. There were two people in the office that was killing it, and everybody else was a low producer. And what I discovered standing before them and asking these cats questions is they all were trained to death, but they were not motivated to get off their own couches. They would leave the meeting and go home and sit on the couch because no one was buying homes. That was in every one of their heads. That's an example of being trained to death, but not motivated to do it.
Absolutely.
All right.
It's 8 o'clock. I need you to offer them something.
Oh, glory to Jesus. Okay. Let's offer something. Thank you, baby.
You're welcome.
It's awesome to have a purpose partner, okay? And all those nicknames we get, I think purpose partner is the one I prefer, so.
Yes.
But that's between us. All right. I believe, let's see. Why should you even listen to me? You know, so what? I know how to sell. You know, why should you even care? I do want to talk about my books a little bit, and I want to give something for free. The first book that I want you to know of is what I consider the one book that I wish I had read when I first got into sales.
That's my handbook. I carry it with
handbook,
me.
yes. That's why this one is a little bit dog-eared and all that. But it's called The Shortcut. It's only 74 pages long. But it's nuts and bolts of what to do in order to be successful at selling yourself and your services. And I recommend you get this book. If you get it from me, I'll do something. If you're in the Charlotte area, I'll do something special because you were on this. Just mention that special deal. This book covers everything, but it doesn't cover how to close sales. But this book does. Asking for the money. How anyone can close more sales, even you. I wrote this book with part of the inspiration for this book was Toni Coleman Brown.
Awesome.
Toni Coleman Brown kept telling me, because she booked me like 7 or 8 times over the years to speak to her groups. But she kept telling me people are still afraid to close, and that stayed in my head. Now, I didn't understand people are afraid to close sales because it comes easily to me because I'm trained and I'm motivated to do it. But I wrote this book designed for the person who doesn't like to close sales or is afraid to close sales. This book is how anyone can close more sales, even you. That's the subtitle. 94 pages on what you do before you ask for the money. What do you do when you ask for the money? What do you do when they give you a little resistance? What do you do when they give you a lot of resistance? I'll do something special for this book as well. But what I will do is this. Anyone that's on this broadcast that chooses to reach out to me, however you do it, you can either call me or do it through Facebook. If you call me, my number is 919-345-4893. 919-345-4893. Tell me you saw this on the broadcast. Call me up and I will offer you a free sales coaching consultation.
Tammy, go ahead.
Which leads, a sales consultation with me lasts 15 minutes, 20 minutes. And I promise you in that shorter time period, I can offer something that will be helpful to you. And then we'll do something else as far as if you want to do a sales training session, a trial coaching session. All right? So reach out to me either through Facebook or through LinkedIn or through my phone number, and we'll offer something. Is that good enough, baby?
That's good. All
right, so we're over time now.
Angel doesn't like the squeaky board. He said people are actually afraid to ask for the money. I agree. A lot of people are. Tammy, thank you for sharing.
I got to say something on that.
Yeah.
People think they're afraid, and my opinion is just they're not trained yet.
Yeah.
It's not afraid or unafraid. It's not afraid or courageous. To me, it's trained or not trained. Yes, ma'am.
Yes. First of all, Kimberly asked, can we invite anyone to these live sessions? Yes, they're absolutely free. They will be posted, so we welcome you to share them. And anybody that watches this broadcast, whether it's the replay or live, still gets the same access. Tanya says something that I need to bring up, asking for the money about. She says that she's not shy about asking. She just gets frustrated with indecisive people. And I think that that's critical because when people are asking for the money, if they're not asking properly, being bold is not being skilled.
Right. Exactly. Being bold is different than being skilled. Now, Tanya should be in trouble from us because she's a friend of ours. Yeah. She has access to us anytime she wants to.
Yeah, so you're in trouble. Yep, you're in trouble.
She should have asked you that any time. I've known Tanya over a year. Could have handled that. We could have handled that in 5 minutes. Tanya. All right, we're going to call that a night. I will say this, that our lives are not scrimmage games. There's no Martyrs Hall of Fame. Time, the speedster, takes its toll. And for you and you and you and you, every day really is the Super Bowl. Good night.
Good night. And meanwhile, keep walking on water.
Yes.